right, and I am live. Get the Facebook feed going. I think we're good to go. We are good to go. How's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing? So we had a couple of developments. What's going on with Facebook? All right, screw it. We're just gonna be on YouTube for now. I'm not sure what's going on with the Facebook stream. I'm not getting any health on there. So, all right, we had a few developments since my last stream. I haven't streamed in like 2 weeks, but since then I had some targets posted, and the charts are basically heading to target, actually above target. So the S&P cleared our target. The QQQ is not there yet, right? It's almost there. 287 was our target. 343 was our target on this one. Looking at ES futures, there hasn't been much action since the futures market opened up, and we got to keep an eye on the dollar index. Now, the Fed did announce some kind of digital dollar coming out soon, and I think the next round of stimulus, it might be like digital dollar. It might like be a test pilot for what they're thinking about doing. So I'm not too bullish on the dollar, especially with another round of stimulus happening. Trump had tweeted something about a huge package, like way bigger than the skinny. We're just a new, pretty much massive relief package, right? And it's kind of what I'm expecting. Now, what's going to happen with these markets? Phantom's given us higher highs on ES. It's given us higher high on the QQQ, right? Get it and drop Phantom on here. Did not mean to do that. I'll hop into crypto once we're done with these, for you guys that are wondering. Why does the SPY not sell off with all the bad news? I don't see any bad news, man. The night Trump tweeted, he had COVID. It was a little bit of a scare, but if you look through my notes, I said that was actually bullish, right? I said it was actually good because he's gonna cure himself really fast, right? And then it's gonna end the vaccine narrative. And it hasn't quite ended the vaccine narrative, all right? But his treatment is now authorized for emergency use, which is pretty bullish, right? And I was thinking about this tonight. Trump's not going to take the vaccine. He'd much rather get sick, fix himself, and be immune than take a pretty much experimental vaccine, right? I'd rather do that. Everybody would rather do that. So why doesn't the SPY sell off? I said there wasn't going to be a crash, right? It wasn't going to sell off before it retraces 61.8. Once you start entering a correction back to the upside, we're not going to see a dump before we hit the 61.8, right? Just like what we saw we see this on every asset. We saw this on Bitcoin several times, and that's why I had said, a couple of streams ago, I said we're not going to crash this yet, right? Last stream I said our target's over here. It took 2 weeks to get up here from this bottom. Now, it did have a fractal drawn up on the SPY from our 2018 correction. And we might get some chop here, right? We might get some chop. And if we do, we're going to go up to 350, probably come back down to 334, back up. If this is going to resolve like 2018 did, right? And this was before the big crash. But I'm not seeing a reason for like another liquidity grab. I'm not. Even when Trump tweeted that this, he was over Nancy's package, and he's like, we're not negotiating until after the election. That night, I said, hey guys, we're gonna see some kind of bullish news tomorrow regarding COVID. And then the next day, Trump goes up and says, hey, my treatment's getting emergency authorization, right? So bad news doesn't mean a crash, right? I mean, we already saw the crash. Bad news just means buying opportunity right now. Those are not indicators. That's the fractal I pulled off. Here, I'll show you. That's the 2018 fractal I was tracking. I've got a lot of tweets on this. A lot of my notes. I'm not sure if you follow us on Twitter or if you're in VIP, Jason, but this is basically this, right? The red pattern over here is this part of the chart back in 2018. And why is that relevant, right? Like, why would I do something like that? The reason it's relevant is because on a daily time frame, the last time the DXY was doing what it's doing now was right here. It was in 2018 when it was like bottoming on our phantom script indicator, right? So, why should the market act differently than it did the last time the DXY did what it's doing right now? Like, it doesn't make any sense for it to crash, right? Even coming out of the DXY, just climbing out, we didn't see the big dump until way later, right? So just because the DXY is going to go up doesn't mean everything else has to crash. That's if the DXY goes up from here. Let's look at the dollar index. It's going to impact pretty much everything. It's below the hourly buy on Phantom. The last few hourly buy pings sent it right back up, right? But we could be doing something like this where it's going to want to inch lower. 120 is below the midline, so I'd keep an eye on the 120, right? Just because there's that midline, it's like a good buffer zone. If it gets above 93.21, probably gonna retest this trend line, but I don't know. I'm not very bullish on the DXY because we're still printing money. We're gonna print more money, and the interest rates are zero. So why would you want to buy the dollar if you can borrow the dollar for free, right? And if DXY does keep coming down, right, we can either sweep those 2018 lows, right? We can either sweep these lows for a nice retest, or we can come down and ring 84. And if we ring 84, I mean, I'd probably buy U up calls if we did that. And I would bet really heavy on the dollar if it does come down to this liquidity zone. I don't not necessarily predict the future, but it'll give you a good reading and understanding of how the market reacted last time we were in this situation, right? And it should help you make a better decision when you know how the market reacted last time the dollar was doing what it's doing now. Why was it doing it? I don't quite remember the fundamentals behind it. It obviously wasn't an election year, but news aside, right? News aside, and election aside, as far as the dollar impacting the market, fractals are very relevant, and it proved to be the same. Like, even if you look at the QQQ, let me pull this up on Discord, see if I can pull it up real quick while you guys are on stream. If you guys want to, post up some more questions about this setup, legacy notes. Boom, found it. Just so I don't have to rechart everything. And these are like older observations too. So I saw this first on like 9/17. It said, hey guys, it was like a descending broadening wedge, and then the QQQ broke out and it made a new high, and then it kind of entered correction mode, and then it started coming down. Let me just get and move that a little bit, right? So you see the DXY, the QQQ, and then what happened was practically almost the same thing. It updated, so we did see a descending broadening wedge. This was 2018. This was last week or the week before, and then bam, right? Descending broadening wedge broke out. So now, all eyes on the 61.8, right? All eyes are on the 61.8 on the QQQ. Hola, onion. So if we can get above here, all right, then we might enter a blow-off mode again. Now, it's really interesting. What's really interesting about the state of traditional markets, and then I'll hop into crypto, guys, I promise. If you look at like Apple, which is the most heavily weighed stock in the NASDAQ, and it's pretty heavily weighed in on the S&P, right? Apple hasn't hit 125 yet. It has not hit its 61.8. So it should do it this week, right? Unless we get some kind of stupid liquidity type play, Apple should hit the 61.8 this week. But the index is above, right? So if you look at the SPY, it's higher. It's above it, right? Let's just look at the ES, because it's actually trading right now. And 240. So something's off with breadth. Either breadth of the market is off, right? So you have divergent breadth and the indices are going to correct, or other stocks, other assets are kicking Apple's ass right now, which I believe is the case, right? Because if you look at like some of the things we were playing, like PayPal, right? PayPal above the 61.8, and it's looking bullish. It's looking like it's going to continue. I should have added more on Friday. I think we're going to gap up tomorrow on PayPal, right? It's going to 223, right? Looking at Home Depot, right? Some of these big plays, look at that, above the 61.8. So, you know, Apple's lagging. So some of the market is lagging. We might see a rotation because the S&P was leading. You know, it still is leading. So we might see a rotation from SP type stocks, and then we're back into tech this coming week or coming next 2 weeks. Fucking send it, man. I still have 128 calls that we bought, and they expired 10/16, and I kept averaging down. So that's going to be my rescue if you get that pop. It looks like, you know, that bull flag's breaking out on Apple. It's a teeny bull flag, but the QQQ practically did the same thing. I mean, they look the same, but you just see the little bit of a disconnect. Apple's got, you know, like 6% to get there. Well, the QQQ's got 0.3. Now, if Apple does get up here, it's going to send the Q screaming. So that's what we got to pay attention to, right? Because we might get back in a risk-on environment, and as Phantom's saying, right, as Phantom Script is saying, we might end up here at 315. And then, you know, our far-out OTM calls that we bought down here, look at the beauty, right? On this dip at 2 green buy dots, and then, you know, now, you know, possibly 315 is the next high. All right, that about covers traditional markets for me. If you guys have questions, you want me to go over any specific charts, go ahead and start dropping them in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and cover some crypto assets, and then I'll go over the chat. And you guys had some FIB questions for me yesterday. Let's you know, start typing questions, guys. So I did hedge a short today. I did hedge a short on BTC. Still have my longs open. I'm not bearish, but there's two things that I believe are kind of holding her back. One, weekend. Where are you? There you go. So the CME gap, which is at 11K and $90, right? And then the other thing, that's what's kind of acting like gravity. And Jeremy, can you guys see my stream on Facebook? Because I can't. You're the first comment. I can't see my stream. I'm not getting playback. Let me know. So the reason I had, you know, we got up here on Friday night. I said, hey guys, you know, this is 61.8. Looks like a good spot to hedge. I waited today, and it was early in the morning, I think, and I saw it like it was this wick, and I was like, man, I missed the wick entry, so I signaled a short here with a stop above. You should still be in this short for at least to move down 11. This was my target one that I posted in Discord, right? Target one that I posted in Discord was 11,11146. I think if we get a dip down at the 10,831, right? If we get a dip down to here, I'm adding long, right? I'm adding long. Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. Perfect. And looking at ETH, right? I hedged a little ETH just because, let's go. Let's stay at BTC real quick. All right. Let's go to the hourly. Let's go to the daily. Let's just kind of zoom out, and just see what in the world is going on. And back to those 61.8 retracements, right? Because there was a lot of questions about that yesterday in Discord, and so just like I said on the SPY and on the QQQ, the 61.8, that's my red fib, is going to be the highest probability target, right? Just like 13.7 was last year. Then we got a little retrace. And this analysis, what I'm about to say now, is probably a few months old, right? It's as old as we closed above, July, when I said, hey, if we get above the 61.8 of the 2019 high, yearly high, to the 2020 yearly low, right, of this swing, if we get above this 61.8, then the next target is the bigger 61.8 at 13.7, right? Now, if this keeps climbing and it goes above 13.7, then, we could actually go up and hit 16K, right? Before the next dip down, which I'm assuming would be some kind of liquidity event, one of these, because we do see a lot of 61.8 retracements on the way up. And I was kind of hoping we'd get a dip down to 7K just so I can leverage more, right? But I'm referring to like these moves that happen in a bull market on BTC, right? We saw a lot of them in 2017. When we went to 4K, back down, to 3 or 5K, and then we went to 8K, back down to 54, and then we had like the Jamie Dimon dip, right? So yeah. Can you do a quick review of the way you combine fib retracements to get a target? Okay, so it's actually a perfect question, right? And let's say we were looking at Bitcoin and you didn't have a long from lower, and then you see this triangle setting up, and you see the triangle break, or over here, okay, I'm gonna buy here, I'm gonna long here, and I'm gonna exit at the 61.8. Now, how would you fib that, right? So ideally you want to look at the previous swing high before your impulse move happened. And the tricky part here is, was this our swing high, right? Or was this our swing high? And that was my main question during the initial break. I dropped that in our BMX Savagery channel, right? What ended up happening is, if this was our swing high and this was your target, well, guess what? Within 1 hour, BTC cleared it, right? Once you clear this fib, significantly clear it, then you can go ahead and hike that swing high up and pick the earlier one. And now you get this really clean 61.8 with the, the wick right there, right? Hopefully that answers your question on as far as like trading a 61.8 retracement. Now, if we were going to do it on the way down, right? Like when I signaled that Link USD long a few weeks ago, man, look at that. It's beautiful. I was looking for a 61.8 retracement, and I didn't quite use fibs, right? This is going to be pretty stupid, but I literally, you guys in Discord, that I did this. I literally go, I guess, my guys, it had dropped like 63%. I'm like, guys, Link's down 63%. We're going to long it 61.8 retracement. Now I can try to zoom out now and try to find that fib. Now, okay, we longed this 63%, 3% just because it's a 61.8 retracement. Like legitimately it is off the all-time high. Now let's figure out which swing this chart is trading. And as soon as I do that, where's resistance? Where are we failing to break above? And this was our hedge. The red line on my charts is a 61.8, yes. I don't have them numbered. I don't put the fib extension number on there for a reason, but I do have color coded. So what happened, right? We had a bit of a rejection here, and then it rejected again, and then it rejected again. It's eventually going to break, right? It's the 61.8 is eventually going to get knocked out. And then, at this point, one wants to, are we trading an extension, right? Are we extending this range breakout from this high to this low? Or are we actually still trading the bearish retracement above, right? So at this point, if it goes up and it stalls at $13, sorry, if it stalls at 13.7 and it won't get up to that previous extension of 14.8, then we know that, hey, this is 61.8 and we're going to hedge at 13.7, right? And then eventually, if it does get up and closes above 15.2, then we're looking for a new extension of this entire swing and looking at 23, 25, 28, just based on what we're seeing. And you see the same thing happen, traditional assets, everything does this, right? Everything does this. Man, this was COVID depth, right? And once we saw that close above the 61.8, from here on, the QQQ started extending again, and it just kept going, right? It literally just kept going. This one's in a bubble. This one's doing a hyperwave. I went over that a while ago. And looking at this correction, we're looking at the 61.8. Just to give you some examples of how I use 61s. All right. Going over ETH USD, I signaled the long, right when we broke that trend line. I'm not seeing a 61.8 here. I'm not. Let's go to the 4 hour. I'm seeing a bit of a bull flag. Now if BTC does come back down to fill the gap, then I'm expecting ETH to retrace as well. Let's go ahead and throw some harmonics on here, see what is going on. Phantom and harmonics want to send it up to 419. Let's remove drawings, right? So 417. I don't know if this is still valid just because it made another swing low that's the same low. Let's kind of just stick to harmonics. Now, like this 4 point wouldn't be valid at all because we got another swing high. Let's go another hourly. Bam, look at that. 120, 240. I'm just scanning. That's why it's called the scanner. You want to find these formations. All right, so I'm just going to remove, let's just turn them off. And where are we in terms of a 61.8 on Ether, right? Like, what in the world is going on this chart? Arranged for so long. And if there is an extension being played, it's this one. Wham bam. Anybody tells you fibs don't work, they just don't know how to use them, right? If I can get all these pivots based on one tool, right? Whoever tells you they don't work, they're just an idiot. They don't know what they're doing. I'm not a fan of this line, right? But this did look like a wedge on the 3-day, like a bull flag type. Let's just use the closes on a 12-hour. And I'd signaled this right here. I'm like, hey, this is a falling wedge type thing. If we just take out all this mess over here, it's like an ending diagonal. This could be a 1 if I was an Elliott wave chartist with a a 5 count up. Like this would be the, I don't know what this fake out is, but now that we're here, I'm looking for two things, right? 441's got to break. If this thing's bullish and it goes up, we're looking for 420 and we're looking for 441, right? Those are my targets on Ether right now. And if we get above these, then we might get up into that 536 range, right? ETH BTC. It literally looks the same. I mean, from now, like the 12-hour where it currently is right now, formation wise, in terms of fibs, it's not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not quite ETH maximalist, but I'm a lot heavier in ETH than I am in BTC right now. It's probably time to like leverage some more ETH BTC on that contract. Because it's above that 61.8. It came down to it, right? And it retested. If it stays above our next target, what do you see, right? That's like kind of a bull flag shaping up. It's ugly. It's a pennant. Next target, 0.4. 0.48. 048. All right. I haven't showed my homies on Facebook a lot of love, so I'm gonna cover ONT and Monero while you guys on the tube shoot me some more things to answer. You guys smash that like button. YouTube, Facebook, smash that like button, please. Thank you. All right. What ONT? Oh man, that's a rough chart. I'm gonna look at the ONT USD just because that looks wrecked by my standards. I wouldn't touch that. You guys know I haven't really been trading a lot of alt pairs. The ones I'm trading, they're the margin ones on FTX, just because I'm not gonna sit there and hold for a non-leveraged gain. I don't have time for that. Man, this looks rough. Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of wedging. It's doing a little bit of a flag. There's one more way to fib it, right? You guys are asking about fibs. I was measuring the 61.8 retracement back up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure if it dipped down 61%. And it did, right? So, I mean, this wick down here, it shouldn't be a coincidence that that's where it turned at 51. That's just 61.8 retracement, just like what we did on Link. And then, boom. Rebound. It might come back down to 0.512, and that would be like the long if I was trading it. I mean, the only alts I've actually signaled are, Atom. It was before the Head and Shoulders, right? I signaled this, remove drawing. I saw this flag set up. I signaled it like somewhere around here for 3 targets. If you stuck to the original targets, it's above target 1. It's almost at target 2, right? So we got in at like 5. T1 was 570, T2 6.3, T3 7.4. Once it gets up to 61.8, I'm going to sell half my bags, move the stop to entry, and just forget about it. I'm going to December future. All right, Monero, XMR. I'm going to go for XMR USD. A little bit of FUD on Monero. There are 2 firms currently working on a bounty to crack it for the federal government. It's been cracked before, too. Let me drink some water, guys. One thing I say, it's a bull market when there's FUD and your chart is still going up. XMR USD looks like it's bottom, man. This thing looks ready to go. Let's I think hypothetically if it gets up to 306, I would get out, right? And it could. Let me look at the XMR USD Bittrex because they've got more data. Yeah. Oh, this is bottomed, right? This is ready to go on the USD pair. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, man. Monero's ready. And my target on Monero right now. Remember how like Bitcoin did the 13.7? My target's 346. Big difference between this chart and the other one you asked about. All right, going over Facebook and Netflix. I have Facebook calls and they expire I think in 2 weeks, 10/23, and it's looking very much like Apple is. Right? It sold off, it consolidated, it's doing a bull flag, and it's lagging its index. Target's 282. That's it. That's all there is to it. Thanks, Jeremy. I do this. I try to do it every Sunday. Sometimes I do it midweek too. I should do it more often. I know. It's just I've been going through some things, personal level, so I haven't been really streaming a lot. I should. So Facebook going to 283. It just is. And Netflix. Look at that. They're having a lawsuit in Texas over cuties, and still going up. What does that tell you? It tells you the market is bullish. You guys remember all the Bitfinex FUD we had in 2017, even 2019? You know, Netflix going to 609, I think. Let's do this. Because Harmonics actually signaled the top. Every single top that we missed was signaled. On a time frame or another. I'd look for 576, 609. Just, we got to keep an eye on what happens this week with the indices. Remember I said if the S&P comes down, it's one thing. And if it keeps going up, it's another. I do think we're going to see a rotation back in a stock, in a tech. I think so. I think if it goes up, so you see this right here, this move was no coincidence, right? The shit like this doesn't just happen. What initiated it? Come on, George, don't do that. I just put my foot in my mouth. No, I didn't. Right? That early blow off right here, right? That was an extension of this leg. So if I extend this range, 609. I'm not saying it's going to stay above 609, but it could. I'm not saying it's going to do the same wick, but that would be my target, right? If I was going to go OTM on Netflix, I'd go with 609. Let me add like RSI just so I'm not like being a super bull, even though I sort of am, and things can go really divergent in a bull market. Let's go to daily. Yeah, I mean, if this gets going, man, it's gonna go because its momentum's really depressed, right? And we still don't have a divergence. This is gonna go. It's gonna go to 609, I think. What, is it too high or is it too low? You want a bigger target? All right, fam. You guys hit me with some questions. If you don't, probably going to call it a night, a little, 30 minutes into the stream. Too high. No such thing. Rookie numbers. Go higher. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Thanks for asking me all the questions. It was great. If you're not on Discord, hop into Discord. Tomorrow's Monday. We do our Money Monday, where our traditional asset channels are free for everyone. So you can get in there and see what stocks we're trading, what calls we're buying, what puts we're buying. Just kind of like trade with us like we do like we do every day except for Monday. Anybody's welcome to try it out. So join us Money Monday and AMD. So looking at AMD. I was hearing some chatter on like Reddit about another reason to go higher. AMD's. Where did we have our calls? I mean, we traded this one, I think, down here before earnings. October 19th. So it's doing an earnings dip. Man. Oh, the 27th. It's a tough one. I don't know how I feel about their earnings, and you guys know about the earnings clap, right? So let's zoom out. Let's see what's happening, like big picture. If it goes back down to 77 or 68, that would be my buy-in, right? I wouldn't want to touch it now. If it keeps going up, we're looking for 124, right? It's just the way it is. You guys remember Spotify? Spot was raging, right? And I said, hey guys, wait for it. It's gonna come back down. And let's go to the daily. Sure enough, it came back down and it turned right where I wanted to buy back in. Right, 226. And it literally hit that before turning back around. So I don't know if we're gonna go back all the way down to 61, maybe on like an earnings clap. I mean, this move came back down, but I wouldn't take on more risk on something like AMD right now. Oh, what did I just do? Let's go on like the hourly. Where's the 61.8? What's going on off this last top? Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd wait. It rejected at the 61. One thing I bought back in, I should have kind of signaled it, was UPS. I have 170s and I have 190s. I have 190s like 3 months out, 170s for this earnings call. Wi-Fi, I have not bought in. I'm gonna let this bubble deflate. Anything that's what do y'all call them? DeFi. Man, I'm not really into the DeFi hype. I'm not. I mean, this thing did a head and shoulders, pretty ugly one. I mean, it could turn around, but if BTC gets running, I see things like this just going to shit because it's just what the algorithms do. You guys remember last year, when Bitcoin starts pumping, everything else goes down. So we might see something like that where, it's going to bleed DeFi a bit. It broke the trend line. It's going to sucker a lot of people in here, but, I mean, yeah, man, I think this needs to chill. Like, this needs to like go down and then round bottom, and nobody's gonna want it. I don't know, just so little tokens. No comment. Fucking Ponzi, that's right. Okay, going over RKT Tesla. You guys holding me hostage. I like it. All right, RKT 4 hour, pretty new chart. I don't like post IPOs, right? I really don't like trading things that are recently IPO'd. I don't do that. I don't touch IPOs until they've done something that's formidable, right? And an example is going to be Uber. I think Uber's ready. I just did a market. Look at this, right? This is ready. This is fucking ready. This is ready to go up. It almost looks like Bitcoin did priming up for COVID. This is ready to go. Twitter, same thing. You guys know I'm pretty much loaded up on Twitter long term. Right? This is ready to go. Right? So when the reason I'm bringing this up is because when you bring up an IPO chart that's only been trading for like a few months, it hasn't done this. It has not done the shit show. Right? And you want to buy these charts after they shit show. After they drop like 63% after clearing the last range low. And, you know, just looking at it, I see a little bit of a bear flag. I wouldn't touch it, man. I think, you know, it's 22. They can go down like $12. I know, I like it. Going over Tesla. You guys keep smashing that like button, man. Help me out. Help out our YouTube algo, our Facebook algo. Help us out. Tesla, man, it's looking bullish now. It finally consolidated the 61.8. If the market breaks up, it's going to break up. It's not going to come back down, right? There's no, I don't know if there's reason to, but I mean, this looks, I don't trade Tesla, right? This looks like an ascending triangle, and it could get could get going. 600 is the next target. If it goes above 449, 600, 632 are the next targets, in my opinion. Not financial advice. I won't even trade this chart. BNB USD. I think BNB's firing up right now, man. Yeah, it broke out. It's still knocking that 61.8, guys. It's gotta clear it at some point. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, right? Four knocks at it. I still have a long in here, right? At this point, you know, if it does clear 29, I think 31 and 36 are beyond viable targets. And you guys remember 2019? What was the first asset to hit ATH, right? It was BNB, and actually, I think it's ready to rumble. Let's go further back. Look at this. Why are we stalling? Why are we stalling right here? This is 61.8. If this thing gets going, we're going to $52, right? Forget the 30 bullshit target. If this gets going, it can literally go to $52. Now, just looking, everything looks bullish, man. Market looks pretty bullish right now. It's gonna need like a liquidity event, Black Swan type shit to fuck up all these setups. Excuse my French. Right? I mean, Bitcoin retested the 61.8 from overhead. I said, hey guys, if this holds, the target's 13. That's been my consensus. You know, above 99 is going to 13. Below 99, we're going to 7. What else? So back what I was saying about Uber, right, and Twitter. I mean, they literally look like this. So the market's got a lot of room to go up. You guys see the resemblance? It's not just in my head, is it? And I've got a photographic memory, but I mean, you guys see this, right? All right, guys, gals, thank y'all for tuning in. Click the link, get in a Discord, smash the like button, share the video on like your favorite group, tag some friends. Catch us in Discord. Join us tomorrow for Money Monday. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in there. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your questions. This was a great stream. The more you guys participate, the more I should be doing them. Hopefully I do another one this week. So hey, glad you guys see what I see. So I'll catch you guys. Oh, okay. Now before I pack it up, right? I'm pretty deep into Twitter. I'm gonna show you guys why. All right. I'm pretty deep into Twitter. OTM calls, you know, up to like $65, 6-7 months out almost. You guys see this this pattern on Facebook that set it off in a pretty much accumulation pattern that just played out and kept running, right? I think Twitter is wrapping that up. I think Twitter is where Facebook was right here. It hasn't gapped up a million points, but it's starting to fire up. If it comes down, I'm just going to keep averaging down on my calls because I do think it's ready. I mean, you look here at Facebook, it actually did a liquidity grab, dumped lower, but so did Twitter. So I think it's ready to go up. So I've got $60 calls months out. I do, man. I'm addicted to these charts. So election. What do I think about the election, man? I don't. I think Trump's gonna win, right? I think Democrats are losing their legging. I think if he wins, it's gonna pump the market. He's already pumping the market. The Fed is at Trump's mercy. If you Google search the plunge protection team, the president's got his own office. He's got his own people that he can say, hey, pump the market. They'll pump the market, right? Hey, stop the market from selling off. They'll do that, right? If you get in our Discord and you go through my notes, scroll back to when the market was dumping, we pretty much knew when it was going to stop. We did. Just because of how the president was acting and what the PPT does, and they had to instill confidence in the market before the PPT can come in and start pumping money in, right? So, I don't know. I think we're in a bubble, right? We're in a bubble. Look at the QQQ. It's still doing that hyperwave. And I've counted this a few times. Let's take it off log. Let's go to a 1 day. 3 day. All right, let's compare it with our favorite bubble of all times. Okay, holy shit, look at the Bitcoin 3-day chart. That looks nice. It's very bullish, right? Very bullish. Especially with this breakout a few days ago. But, looking at the QQQ, it took off, it would be wave 1 and then 2, 3. We're in 4. I think we're in wave 4, and it's gonna get pumping, man. I think there's especially if we get a big stimulus package, right? We're above 285, and the top fib I had, it wasn't this run. I'm just gonna fib all these, kind of let you know what I'm looking out for. Yeah, so if you stay above 285, you can revisit 300, go to 312, and then come back down, maybe 257 on a liquidity grab type thing. But yeah, man, I don't really bet on news. I don't really bet on news, but I will counter trade some tweets depending on their timing. Trump getting COVID was bullish. Trump refusing Nancy's proposal was bullish. He created this dip, right? And the next day, boom, market rallied. We do have some gaps to fill. We do have a few gaps to fill. So it's always a trap. It's always a trap. That's why you got to profit take. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope Biden doesn't win. If you want to get political, I try not to get political, but looking at what the Dems tried to do last Friday, they're trying to make a coup, trying to make it legal to stage a coup, right? I don't know. I don't identify with any party, right? I don't. There's a thing saying that if Goldman Sachs saying if Biden wins, then they're going to up rank everything, and I'm like, that's bullshit. Somebody shared it on his dog. I'm like, that's bullcrap. You think Goldman Sachs is gonna tell you what their plan is? If Biden wins, they want you to buy so they can just you're providing liquidity. They're shorting into you so they can profit. Like, I wouldn't listen to Goldman or any kind of stuff like that. Those big players. All right, fam. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been great. Make sure you're in Discord, right? Join us tomorrow for Money Monday. Smash the like button, share the video.